And these 5 high-profile convicts detained at the Camp Aguinaldo were brought to the National Bureau of Investigation on Thursday night following reports that they were offered 100 million pesos to recount their testimonies on Senator De Lima's alleged drug links. Among those who were brought to the NBI were Herbert Colango, Rodolfo Magleo, Engelberto Durano, Edgar Cinco, and Clarence Dongail. It can be recalled that Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre II bear the offer for the inmates to retract their testimonies against De Lima. He said former Senator Jambi Madrigal and Laguna Representative Marlene Alonte Nagyat were behind the offer. Both Madrigal and Alonte denied the accusation. Senator De Lima also reiterated she has no personal ties with the said personalities.
Malacanang officials denied that the arrest of Senator De Lima is a case of political persecution. The palace has also called on the Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines to believe that justice will be served in the case of the lady senator. A palace official made the remark in response to the statement of CBCP President Archbishop Socrates Villegas on De Lima's arrest. Kim Feliciano has more.
Following Senator Laila De Lima's arrest due to violating the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002, presidential spokesperson Ernesto Abella reassured the senator of her safety and security while detained inside the Philippine National Police facility. Abella said this in response to the earlier statement of De Lima, worrying about the possibility of ending up with the same fate of the late Albuera Leyte Mayor Rolando Espinosa and Korean businessman Ji Ik-ju. As for the statement of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines on providing De Lima due process and fair treatment, Abella reassured CBCP that the senator will not be deprived of her rights as an individual. Abella also pointed out that the Muntinlupa Regional Trial Court saw a probable cause on De Lima's case and her arrest is definitely not a part of a political vendetta. Meanwhile, Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Secretary Salvador Panelo expressed his opposition with Senator Laila De Lima's claim on being the first political prisoner under the Duterte administration. Panelo said that De Lima is no political prisoner, but an individual facing criminal charges. He also added that De Lima was given ample time to practice her rights and defend herself when she was faced with the criminal charges, but failed to submit a counter-affidavit. Presidential Executive Secretary Salvador Medialdea, on the other hand, refuted the claims that Senator De Lima's arrest was a form of a political persecution.
It's a criminal case filed against her. It's not a political case which was filed against her. Yun lang yun.
For PTV News, Kim Feliciano.
Naipinaman si Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre II dahil sa ilang alegasyon, kabilang isa pang pahayag na itinanggi ng Korean Embassy. At ang umano'y panunuhol na ang source niya ay pinsan daw na isang dating senadora pero hindi pala. Saksi si Lia Manyalak del Castillo.
Matapos ilipat sa NBI ang 5 sa 8 inmates na inalok umano ng suhol para bawiin ang alegasyon laban kay Senadora Laila De Lima kaugnay sa bilibid drug trade, pinangalanan na rin ni Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre II ang mga di umano'y nag-alok ng suhol. 100 milyong piso o 12.5 million pesos raw para sa bawat isa sa 8 inmate, mas malaki pa sa nakubra umano sa kanila ni De Lima maliban kay Herbert Colango.
Ang senador ay si dating senador Jambi Madrigal. Ang congressman ay si Linlin Alonte.
Ang source umano ni Aguirre, ang umano'y pinsan ni dating Senadora Jambi Madrigal na si Laline Madrigal Martinez, misis ng inmate na si Noel Martinez, isa sa mga nagdiin kay De Lima. Tinawag itong walang basihan at malisyoso ni Madrigal na hindi pala pinsan at hindi raw kilala at hindi raw kinausap si Laline Madrigal Martinez. Baka raw inimbento ito ni Aguirre o ng staff niya dahil lang kaapelyido niya ang umano'y source ni Aguirre. Kwento pa ni Aguirre, si Laline daw ang inutusan para sagutin ng asawa ang telepono kapag tumawag naman si Congresswoman Marlene Len Alonte kaugnay sa di umano'y suhol na hindi raw tinanggap ng mga inmate.
Yung pong pagtawag ni Congressman Alonte ay in speakerphone po nila para marinig ng lahat ng inmates at nandun din, nakinig din yung mga staff eh.
Kahapon, sinabi ni Aguirre na taga-Liberal Party ang tinutukoy niyang congresswoman. Pero si Alonte Nagyat, kapartido ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte sa PDP laban.
I categorically deny the insinuations about my involvement in the so-called bribe or offer to believed inmates to recant their testimonies against Senator Laila De Lima. I have no knowledge of the said acts. I do not know and have never met any of the inmates personalities or names mentioned.
Sir, si Alonte po nag-deny na po. Sir, saan niyo po nakuha yung info, sir, na na sinusuhulan yung mga inmate sana? Sino po nagsabi sa inyo, sir? Sir! Sino, sir?
Yung mga inmates din, yung mga asawa nila.
Ang sabi pa ni Aguirre, inambush daw sila Lane kaninang umaga sa Santa Ana Racetrack sa Makati.
Actually, ngayong umaga lamang po, less than an hour ago, inambush po yung kanyang sakyan. Nandun, iniimbestiga. Iniimbestiga sa Makati.
Nang puntahan ng GMA News, walang nakakaalam na may nangyaring ambush. Wala ring nakarecord na ambush kaninang umaga sa Makati Police Station.
Pero sir, dininay din po ng police yung ambush na sinabi niyo po kaninang umaga.
Okay na.
Pero kahit sila Lane na nakausap ng GMA News sa telepono, pinaninindigang inambush siya. At nasa ospital pa nga raw dahil nagpapagaling ng tama sa balikat. Isa pang pahayag ni Aguirre sa isang hiwalay na issue naman, ang hindi rin daw totoo, ayon naman sa South Korean Embassy.
The two Korean officials told me that we should stop any further investigation with respect to this Korean mafia.
Sabi ng South Korean Embassy, hindi hiniling ng mga opisyal nito na ipatigil ang investigasyong may kinalaman sa di umano'y Korean mafia. Base raw sa mga mali at walang batayang impormasyon, naglabas daw si Aguirre ng misleading statements sa Senate hearing kahapon. Sa kabila nito, naninindigan pa rin si Aguirre sa nauna niyang pahayag. Ako si Lina Manyalak del Castillo, ang inyong saksi.
Kwinestyon ni na dating Senator Jambi Madrigal at Congresswoman Marlene Alonte Nagyat ang aligasyon ni Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre II na sila ang nagtangka di manong manuhol ng mga bilibid inmate para bumaliktad pabor kay Senator De Lima. Wala raw basehan ang kwento ni Aguirre. Maging ang Korean Embassy dismayado rin sa mga naging pahayag naman kamakailan ni Aguirre na may kinalaman di mano ang Korean Mafia sa pagkamatay ni G. Ik Ju. Pinanindigan naman ni Aguirre ang mga nakalap niya raw na impormasyon. May report si Tina Panganiban Perez.
Mula raw mismo sa testimonya ng mga convicted inmate ng New Bilibid Prisons na binigay sa NBI kagabi, isang dating senador at incumbent congressman ang nasa likod ng 100 million peso bribe offer na inalok umano sa kanila. Ito'y para raw bawiin ang mga sinabi nila sa pagtanggap ni Senator Laila De Lima ng drug money noong siya pa ang kalihim ng DOJ. Sa panayam kanina ng unang hirit, pinangalanan ni Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre II ang dalawa na miyembro raw ng Liberal Party na partido ni De Lima.
Ang senador ay si dating Senador Jambi Madrigal. Ang congressman ay si Linlin Alonte. At gusto nilang mangyari ay yung i-retract or bawiin itong 8-profile inmates, high-profile inmates na ito, ang kanilang salaysay laban kay Secretary De Lima.
Kakasuhan daw agad ni Aguirre, sina Madrigal at Alonte Nagyat. Ayon pa kay Secretary Aguirre, pinsan daw ni dating Senator Jambi Madrigal si Lane Madrigal Martinez na asawa ng isa sa mga drug convict na si Noel Martinez. Si Lane daw ang inutusan para sagutin ni Noel ang telepono kapag tumawag si Congresswoman Marlene Len Alonte Nagyat na siya nagalok umano ng perang pansuhol pero hindi raw tinanggap ng mga inmate.
Yung pong pagtawag ni Congressman Lonte ay in-speaker phone po nila para marinig ng lahat ng inmates at nandun din, nakinig din yung mga sape.
Mariing itinanggi ni Congresswoman Alonte Nagyat ang mga alegasyon. Una, hindi naman daw siya taga-LP dahil lumipat na siya sa PDP laban. Ikalawa, hindi naman daw siya malapit kay De Lima, lalo na kay Madrigal.
I categorically deny the insinuations about my involvement in the so-called bribe or offer to bilibid inmates to recant their testimonies against Senator Laila De Lima. I have no knowledge of the said acts. I do not know and have never met any of the inmates, personalities or names mentioned.
Sir, si Alonte po nag-deny na po. Sir, saan niyo po nakuha yung info, sir, na sinusuhulan yung mga inmate sana? Sino po nagsabi sa inyo, sir? Sir! Sino, sir?
Yung mga inmates din, yung mga asawa nila.
Sa isang statement, sinabi naman ni dating Senator Madrigal na walang basehan, malisyoso at kasinungalingan ang mga paratang ni Secretary Aguirre. ni hindi nga raw niya kilala o nakita man lang ang isang Lalaine Madrigal Martinez. Kuryente raw ang impormasyong ipinakakalat ni Aguirre. Kung hindi man daw kay Aguirre nagsimula ang kasinungalingan, malamang daw ay may nagsulsol sa kanya. Dapat daw na humingi ng paumanhin sa kanya si Aguirre. Kung hindi, gagawa raw siya ng legal na hakbang para malinis ang kanyang pangalan. Sa isa pang interview, sinabi ng kalihim na tinambangan di umano si Lalaine Madrigal Martinez kaninang umaga sa Santa Ana Racetrack sa Makati City na kilala ngayon Circuit Makati. Nagpunta roon ng GMA News pero walang nakarecord na ganitong insidente sa Makati Police Station.
Dininay din po ng pulis yung ambush na sinabi niyo po kanina umaga.
Pero nang makausap ng GMA News sa telepono si Lalaine, pinatotohanan niyang tinambangan siya. Nasa ospital siya at nagpapagaling dahil sa tama sa balikat. Tumanggi na siya magpa-interview dahil sa takot umano sa kanyang seguridad. Hindi lang sina Alonte at Madrigal ang umaalma sa mga binitawang pahayag kamakailan ni Aguirre. Nagpahayag ng pagkadismaya ang Korean Embassy kaugnay sa mga umano'y mali at walang katotohanang impormasyong binitawan ng Justice Secretary sa Senate hearing noong February 23 kaugnay sa umano'y Korean Mafia. Base raw kasi sa impormasyong natanggap ni Aguirre, binayaran ng Korean Mafia ang mga skalawag sa PNP at NBI upang patayin ang Korean businessman na si Ji Ik-ju dahil tumanggi raw itong magbigay ng pera. Ayon kay Aguirre, agad daw siyang sinabihan ng Korean officials na tigilan na ang pag-iimbestiga sa posibleng anggulong ito.
Sabi ko, hindi pa naman tayo tapos dyan eh. Nagtataka lang ako kung bakit pinai-stop na nilang tatlo ang any investigation that could lead to a possible theory na talagang ito ay talagang pinapatay.
10 araw bago ang hearing, nagkaharap pa sina Aguirre, ilang kinatawan ng Korean Embassy at ang misis ni Ji para linawing walang ugnayan si Ji Ik-ju sa Korean Mafia. Pinawi-withdraw rin ng misis ni Ji ang NBI na nasa ilalim ng DOJ sa pag-iimbestiga sa kaso. Paglilinaw ng Korean Embassy, hindi nila hiniling kay Aguirre na itigil ang anumang investigasyon tungkol sa Korean Mafia. Mismong si Aguirre raw ang nangakong hindi na itutuloy ang pag-imbestiga sa anggulong ito. Nabanggit din sa pagdinig na 2 beses nang nakidnap si Ji. Pero ayon sa Korean Embassy, itinanggi na raw ito ng kanyang byuda. Umaasa ang Korean Embassy na may matibay na ebidensya ang kalihim para patunayan ang kanyang mga sinabi. Nanindigan naman si Aguirre na mga kinatawan ng South Korea ang nagsasabi sa kanyang wag nang ituloy ang anggulong Korean Mafia sa kaso. Sinabi rin ni Aguirre na may ilang opisyal daw ng embahada ang nakompromiso ng mafia pero mariin itong itinanggi ng Korean Embassy. Tina Panganiban Perez, GMA News.
I'm Congressman Umali. Final words from you first, sir.
Well, now we are at the stage where case had already been filed, and so there is nothing unusual in that the court had already issued a warrant. You know, even in other cases, the court can very well rely on the findings of the investigating prosecutor, including that of probable cause. So I guess that is what happened here. The judge relied on the recommendation of the prosecutor and the prosecution, and so a warrant of arrest had been issued.
Senator Trillanes?
Yes.
Okay. You went to the custodial center to visit Senator De Lima, correct, sir?
Yes, I visited her this afternoon.
Yeah. Can you tell us what you saw inside, what she said, what you observed?
Based on what I saw, I believe she would be in good hands. Her cell seemed clean enough, and they have security there. Female PNP officers were assigned just outside her detention cell. Then there are CCTV cameras, so I believe she would be safe there. And even according to Senator De Lima, she feels safe and she has been treated well so far by the custodial officers.
Was she allowed to keep her cell phone and any other gadgets?
No. we're not allowed to have those gadgets inside the detention facility. But I observed that she's in very high spirits, although she admitted that she's a bit tired because of the long day that she has been through. But she's very optimistic about what lies ahead, and that she would be vindicated soon enough. And as I mentioned, this thing will not end here. And in fact, because of this display of misuse and abuse of power, a lot of sympathies would be gained by Senator De Lima, and there would be more voices of dissent in the coming days. And on my part, I am motivated than ever in pursuing the exposés against President Duterte, because at some point the people will have to realize that we have a president who is not only a plunderer but a mass murderer as well. So until then,
Senator Trillanes, we have like 10 seconds. Give us a clue, one clue about what you're going to reveal next week when you say president is a mass murderer and a plunderer.
The plunderer aspect is regarding the 2 billion peso bank deposits that he has, and hopefully some agencies would be able to get the authenticated documents from them. Then
you mean the bank statements? Sir, you mean the bank statements showing transactions? Because what you showed last time were just summaries, no?
They are not, I never mentioned that they are bank statements.
Yes.
But they came from an agency of government who has that. Okay. And at the same time, as for the mass murderer component, Arthur Las Cañas will reveal in detail all the explicit instructions of President Duterte to kill civilians, innocent people.
Okay. Salamat po. Thank you very much, Senator Trillanes. And also, thank you, Congressman Umali. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Netizens are also...
Senator Leila De Lima's arrest this morning jolted the president's hometown down south and surprisingly drew mixed reactions from some of the residents who were caught unaware by such an unexpected development. PTV correspondent Marita Moajes sampled homegrown reactions and the pulse of the streets to include tourists visiting the city.
Despite the expected arrest of Senator Leila De Lima because of her alleged involvement in the illegal drugs trade during her incumbency as Justice Secretary, many were still caught by surprise when it finally happened this morning. In Davao City, where tourists are all over, PTV News witnessed how people reacted when they saw the news on TV. We were able to get the opinions of this group of tourists watching television while having breakfast in a hotel.
Dapat lang dahil dapat siyang magbibigay na example sa mga tao. Yeah. Dati siyang nasa Department of Justice na tulungan imbes na tulungang umasenso ang Pilipino, lalo niya ibinababa.
Nahuli na siya. Dapat lang na tulungan natin ang presidente natin, ang pinakamamahal na presidente, para matulungan ang bayan sa pagpuksa ng mga droga.
Meanwhile, as a woman, Rose Sandoval was initially hurt when she heard the news of the lady senator's arrest.
Parang masakit ang puso ko, parang gano'n dahil she's a woman, no? Pero the fact na sinusubscribe ko sa Sweden ang nangyayari dito sa Pilipinas, parang sa isip-isip ko napakatalino itong taong ito, no? Na nagawa niya lahat itong mga bagay na ginawa niya na dapat hindi niya gawin. Na ang daming nadamay sa kanyang kalukuhan ba? Parang ganun. Kaya sa haka-haka sa Sweden, parang galit ang mga tao sa kanya.
Many reacted even on social media. A number of people were hurt and got angry about this development, but even more felt relieved that the senator was finally arrested. Reporting from Davao City for PTV News, Marita Moajes.
The former driver and bodyguard of Senator Leila De Lima is now at the Muntinlupa City Police Station following his arrest on Thursday night over drug charges related to his role in the alleged drug trade inside the New Bilibid prison. Lala Babilonia reports.
Senator Laila de Lima's former driver bodyguard Ronnie Dayan was placed in a temporary detention cell inside the Muntinlupa City Police Station. This is after the Muntinlupa Regional Trial Court issued an arrest warrant against Dayan, including de Lima and former Bureau of Corrections officer in charge Rafael Ragos. Dayan said he would prefer being jailed in BJMP Pangasinan, fearing for his safety. However, it is not included in the jurisdiction of the court order.
Kasi wala yatang accommodation dyan. Kung papayag sila, doon na lang sa BJMP San Carlos.
Dayan's lawyer Heidi Soriano said their camp is still planning for their next steps.
As of now, wala pa kaming iniisip na gano'n. Tignan namin.
Meanwhile, Muntinlupa Police Station Chief Police Senior Superintendent Nicolas Salvador denied that there is a special treatment for Dayan because he was placed in an isolated cell.
The fact na nandito kung anong irregular procedure natin sa other detainees, ganun din i-apply natin sa kanila.
Dayan admitted that he is still confused and not in the right state of mind, and he refused as well to give message to his former boss, De Lima. Dayan was arrested on Thursday evening because of his role in the alleged illegal drug trade in the New Bilibid prison. For PTV News, Lala Babilonia.
21 members of the new Bangsamoro Transition Commission were officially introduced to President Rodrigo Duterte during the BTC launch in Davao City. The BTC was created to craft the enabling law of the Comprehensive Agreement on the Bangsamoro, which failed to push through in the previous administration. Sweden Velado reports.
President Rodrigo Duterte assured that achieving peace and progress in Mindanao will remain as his top priorities as long as he is the country's chief executive.
The centerpiece of my candidacy would be the Mindanao issue. I'd like to tell you now that as president, ang gusto ko talagang mangyari na kapayapaan, but in country, one nation and one flag.
He stated this during the launch of the Bangsamoro Transition Commission, or BTC, in Davao City. 21 members were officially introduced to the president. He appointed them last February 10, 2017 at the Malacanang Palace in accordance to Section 2 of his signed Executive Order No. 8. Distinguished leader of the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, or MILF, Mohagher Iqbal, who was the former chairman of BTC, will remain as a member of the commission, while first MILF Vice Chairman Gadzali Jaafar was appointed as the new chairman of BTC. The commission was created to craft the enabling law of the Comprehensive Agreement on the Bangsamoro, which failed to push through in the previous administration, when the 16th Congress closed last year without passing the Bangsamoro Basic Law, or BBL. The membership of BTC was expanded from 15 to 21 to ensure inclusivity in the Bangsamoro peace process by including representatives from the Moro National Liberation Front, or MNLF, and indigenous peoples.
So the BTC navigate the hindrances and obstruction at hanapin ninyo ang daan hanggang patungo ng kapayapaan. Mahirap yan. It will be a long journey. But if there is the product that is acceptable to all, makikita ninyo ako.
For PTV News, Sweden Velado, Davao City.